coolest in the game, you dig? Rise with Freeze, the best show in the city, the county, the jails, Milford Mill, anywhere you find a show, this is the best show. Right now, this is something different. It's the first Rise with Freeze where I'm on the other side of the wheel, you know, but this is a special one, you know. Quick intro, man. I heard this gentleman in the mid-2000s. He's part of the Byrdgang movement. Rest in peace, Stacks, Max B, Free Mel Murder, all that. And really got into it. I didn't know this gentleman was from Baltimore. And of course he had a distinct pitch in his rapping voice. But like, if you a Jim Jones fan and you had that first Byrdgang album, this man's DNA is all through it, man. Know the name, know the difference. Noe, how you doing, sir?
I'm good, man.
Pleasure to meet you. This is a real, as a hip hop like dude that love music, like this is like a real honor for me, man. So I appreciate you.
I appreciate
from the top, most definitely,
you,
man.
No doubt.
And so I heard this story that, and I think I read this on your MySpace, like 08. That,
MySpace, wow.
Yeah, man. That your manager was trying to get you signed, whoever your manager was at the time, was trying to get you signed, and people was kind of turning you down for whatever reasons. And she came in the Jim office and said people are scared to sign Noe. And Jim rose to the challenge and said, "I'm not." And from then on, y'all been rocking. That's a true story.
Yeah,
Wow,
that's exactly what happened. Went up, you know, we went at the time. I was writing for Diddy.
Okay.
But I couldn't get a deal. You know, a lot of, you know, back then Jay's influence was, you know, was very, very heavy. So, but I was bubbling. You know, so much so that Puff wanted me to write for him. Okay. So started writing for Diddy. Meanwhile, I was still trying to get a deal. So at that time, Jim had just got a deal over at
Warner Brothers Asylum.
At Warner Brothers Asylum, but he was also dealing with Koch.
Right.
Jim signed a incredible deal with Koch. It was groundbreaking. In fact, it was the kind of deal that no one had ever signed before. Right. So Jim was, you know, the first to sign an independent deal where he was damn near getting $5 a record. You know what I'm saying? That was some unheard of shit back then. But Leo gave him a job. Him and Kevin Louse gave Jim an A&R gig over at Warner. So I had always followed Dipset, of course.
Absolutely.
But once I saw that Jim was branching out to be more of a business,
his own entity,
and his own entity, I knew he was going to carry a lot of that guerrilla marketing tactic, you know, with his business. So I knew that Jim wasn't really afraid of anything. You know, he was groundbreaking. He was innovative. He wasn't afraid to take risks, and so I respected that. So I told my business partner at the time, I said, this would be a good chance to, maybe we should visit Jim. And at the time, Nicety was working over at Rockefeller. Then when Rockefeller sort of folded, she began to work over at Atlantic Records, but she had a relationship with Jim and him already. So she called Jim up and she said, you know, I got an artist from Baltimore. He's dope. He's over there writing for Diddy right now. He's got records in the street bubbling. You know, he wants to come and sit and talk with you. So because of the relationship, Jim said, bring him. Okay. Went to the office. Jim heard me. She put some stuff on. He fucked with it. He started smiling. He was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? You and Jay sound, you know, you sound a little bit like, he said, but to me, you better. He was like, your tone and your pitch is a little better, a little crisp, and you write differently. But he said, I'm gonna fuck with it. I said, well, I mean, at the end of the day, I came to you because, you know, nobody else, everybody else is afraid, and you just strike me as a nigga who ain't afraid of shit. And so he sat back in his chair and said, you know, I ain't afraid of shit. You know what I'm saying? He said, fucking right, I ain't afraid of nothing, you know. And he said, he said, you busy tonight? I said, no. He said, come to Harlem. And went to Harlem, and that was it. Wow. The rest was history. And then Byrdgang, Dipset.
So yeah, because you said you was kind of bubbling already. So kind of where did not too much of like the beginning, but when did it start to transition the way like you got records out independently that's moving around? Like, talk about that period of time.
Well, at that time, a big record that I had out was called 45.
45, okay.
And it was with an R&B group called Thug City. They were signed to Universal Records. And it bubbled in Virginia to the point where it was like the #1 record between DC, Virginia, especially Virginia though. It was the #1 record in Virginia for like 16 weeks, some crazy shit. But a lot of DJs, when they got the record circulated, they thought it was Jay.
So it moved quickly.
So it began to circulate. You know what I'm saying? And when people found out it wasn't Jay, then the whole controversy really pushed the record. You know, and to the point where Universal, I actually met with Universal. Trying to think who did I meet with at the time. I forget the guy's name. Wasn't Jeff Sledge. Jeff Sledge was over at Job. Anyway, it's another kid. I forget his name, who was the head of A&R over at Universal at the time. Young kid, young black kid.
Okay.
And he just didn't give me. He wasn't going to give me the deal that I wanted. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want the deal he offered. Okay. And his words were, you know, it's a lot of people that's going to be afraid of you. You might not be able to get the deal that you want. But I took my chances and I walked away. I actually first started fucking with AZ.
Oh wow.
Nas, and you know, I started fucking with AZ. So we was rolling. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually on an album called AWOL. Okay. I did a song with him on the AWOL album with AZ. Okay. So he had me in the studio or what have you. And so at the time I had a choice between Jim and A. And so I remember I met A at the Shark Bar one night. We were sitting down having dinner. He was like, I mean, you can still fuck with me whenever. He was like, but you know, over here, you know, you'll have the attention you need. You'll have, you know, everything that you need at your disposal. Right. Or you could fuck with Jim. You know. And I think I made the right choice. Yeah. Only from the standpoint of the type of creativity that I want to have, that I wanted to have. Okay. It was, I loved that Dipset music. Yeah, you know absolutely. Absolutely. And it was a good marriage. Once Jim saw me for the talent that I was, it married well. Yeah, because it's like once I first really like heard, you know, the way he implemented Max and Stack Bundles and you and Mel Matrix and Jaja for a while too. It's just it seemed like he forced. It's like having artists that are better than you in certain categories, but that brings the whole umbrella up. And it seemed like he wasn't selfish about saying everything's catered toward him, because you know you see interviews and where certain people talking about him, but Uncasa made the point to say everybody made their own choice. Jim never forced anybody to do nothing. When you got people who sort of put other people in charge of their destiny, you know, they begin to whine and complain like Jim is God and he was supposed to do this for me and he was supposed to do that for me. Right. Jim was going to look out for Jim, but he was going to put you in a position where you could look out for you. He wasn't going to spell it out to you, but that was on you. So everything you did was on you. The only reason why I would never badmouth Jim is because at the end of the day, he gave me the platform that I needed. Absolutely. You know, and whatever I was going to do with the platform was whatever I was going to do with the platform. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to say I wouldn't be the NOE I am today if it wasn't for Jim. I was going to be no regardless. Absolutely. But I made some great music with him. Absolutely. I did records with Grammy Award winning artists. I got records out there with Ludacris, Busta Rhymes, Twista, Max B, Stack Bundles, Cam, Jewels. Like I've done Gucci Mane. Like I've done songs with Grammy nominated to Grammy Award winning artists that are in my catalog.
And that respect your pen and how you put it down.
And they respected the pen. On How to Be a Boss, Ludacris went before me and I went last. I anchored the record. You understand?
You closed that out. So because you told the story, but you said something easy watching at the BC. I'm like, oh, like
you know what I'm saying? I mean, and it was so much fun, man. It was just, and I was in it for the fun. Absolutely. You know, I never jumped into the game for the money. The money is good, but that I love what I was doing. I could do it for free. You know what I'm saying? So I just love being in the booth, man. I did Rap City. You know, I mean, I made history. I've done some pretty amazing things.
You had this line, and I saw a clip of it on MySpace where y'all had like the whole Byrdgang had a Rap City, or RP Sandman too. And you said, I'm nastier than Nas, man. I'm hospital food. Yeah. And everybody just kind of like flipped out, and I'm like, man. I was like, man, this dude, like, what was some of your influences that kind of made you sharpen your pen so much? Like, was it like Rakim's, the Big Daddy Kane's, Coogee Raps? because you have a storytelling ability. Put the J thing aside, of course, but you just have a storytelling ability in the way where people can see what you're saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I've been writing since I was 10, so I was a creative writer before I even knew how to put the poems to beats. So I always wrote short stories, and my mother had me reading books from the time I was 6. You know, so my imagination and my vocabulary was extensive. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So I'm able to go anywhere with words. I can take you anywhere. One minute with one bar, I can take you over here into California in a hotel room where I'm eating a burger. And then the next minute I can take you all the way back over to Baltimore sitting on a stoop in front of a vacant. You know what I'm saying? And I can command it with the English language and give you a clear picture of what I'm describing. So I listen to the rock hymns, the G raps. I thought DMX was a great storyteller.
Absolutely.
Biggie was one of the greatest storytellers, you know, of us all. Because when you think about a good story and what a good story entails, you got to have the irony, you have to have the humor, you have to have the descriptiveness, you have to have the emotion. You know, that's like a good movie. Yeah, absolutely. So it's like, how do you create a good movie in 3 verses? You know what I'm saying? And you have to be able to do that. And a lot of people think that shit's easy, but it's really not. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have the ability to tell a good story. Every bar, every verse got to tell a story.
What's your favorite storytelling hip hop joint?
I got a story to tell. Biggie Smalls. Yeah, when he talked about robbing a nigga and all that.
And that turned out to be a true story.
Great. It turned out to be a true story, and it was a great story. It was full of everything. It almost made you want to see that. You know, it was like an episode. And that's in essence what great writers do. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to be a great writer. You know, not just a rapper, just spitting.
Just
bars,
a million
just
bars.
Spit bars. You know, you gotta. You know, I want people to envision. You know, because it also helps them remember what you just spit. You know, because it's like, yo, I remember he was in this verse, he was talking about this, that, and he went down, so people remember the verse, you know what I'm saying? So
where did the name Noe come from?
Well, my nickname is Kino.
Kino, okay.
Yeah, my father named me Kino, after a Chinese philosopher.
Okay.
And you know, my family still knows me as Kino, but in the street it was No. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So, and No just stuck. You know what I mean? So,
did you was working on a project? Was it called No Heat, No Hot Water?
No Heat, No Hot Water.
Did it ever come out?
No. I'm actually. It's funny because I released No Remorse some years ago. My album No Remorse. But I'm actually getting ready. I'm gonna release No Heat, No Hot Water. Okay. It was something I got tatted on. I don't do tattoos. But we were in the studio with Jim. It was me, Jim, and the Game. We were all in California. We were recording. We were working on Jim's Pray for Rain album, and Game had tattoo artists come through, and Jim was getting a bunch of tats, and you know everybody's getting tats, and I'm sitting here working on the song, and so Game was like, "Yo, no, you getting, you know," and I'm like, "Nah," and so Jim was like, "Yo, get a tat," and I'm like, "I don't do fucking tats," you know what I'm saying? And so after a while, you know what I mean, a little egging on, you know what I'm saying, I just was like, "Fuck it, I get one." So I knew No Heat, No Hot Water that had a special meaning to me because when I was in New York, you know, I was almost homeless. I was practically homeless. I could have came back to Baltimore and kept getting it, and then, but I didn't want to. So I had to just starve. You know, so I was living in a home that my man's godfather left him, but it had no heat, no hot water. You know what I'm saying? I had to heat the hot water up on the stove. You know what I'm saying? To wash up. You know what I'm saying? And I was writing for Puff at the time. But I wasn't getting paid for it at the time. You know, I had to wait on money. You know what I'm saying? So,
because a lot of people do think like the music game is a bi-weekly check.
Nah, don't work that way. You could do a project in January and don't get paid for it until December. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it. You know, the music business, their checks are slower than any business you're gonna be in. But so yeah, man. So I tatted No Heat, No Hot Water to my forearm, and I said that's gonna be a major project.
That's still your only tat to this day?
That's still my only tat.
I dig that.
Still my only tat.
I dig that. So after you transitioned out of Byrdgang, I remember you put out a song, I think it was called Baltimore Bangers or something like that. It was on YouTube, maybe like 2010 or something. Like what was you kind of How was your transition? Okay, you back independent, you back solo. Like, did you go back to writing, or was you trying to focus on?
Honestly, to be quite honest, the music industry had taken so much out of me.
Yeah.
That I just wanted to go back to Baltimore or go back wherever I could have peace and get back into me.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, so what I did was I came back to Baltimore and I wanted to but I wanted to show particular artists how to brand themselves.
Right.
And use the branding tools that was taught me by Dame Dash, by Jim, by Diddy, because I watched these guys. These were my co-workers.
Right.
You know, so I watched these guys. I sat in the meetings and listened to branding meetings and marketing meetings and things like that. So I wanted to come and show some Baltimore artists how to do it.
Okay.
So you had local artists that were doing their thing. You had Hooli Shalom at the time. You had C-Notes. You had Lano doing this thing over the east side. You had De Niro. You had Ryder Rook. You had Big Chuck up Park Heights. Wow. Like, these were guys that were doing their thing. But and you had Rico Reed over at White Lock, from White Lock. You know what I'm saying? So you had these guys doing their thing separately.
Right.
That were having their little buzzes, you know. And I wanted to just bring it together and create the Baltimore Bangers and give them a platform.
Yeah, of course.
And I created that platform. The Bangers was big. The Bangers was bigger than they even know. You know what I'm saying? And they're still known. People still like the Baltimore Bangers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they each took from it what they took from it, and some ran with it and some didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I did my part because I wanted to come back and put Baltimore artists on just to show them.
Absolutely.
You know, like here's what I learned from my experience. Now you take it and you do with it what you do with it.
What's the biggest lesson you learned being in the music business?
The biggest lesson that I learned: never show them I'm just glad to be here. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Never. When you get into the music business, the worst thing you could do is show everybody how glad you are just to be here. Because you're dealing with pathological narcissists. And what I mean by that is the music business is full of people who the meism is all about me. So when you come in there with all that talent and you just come in and I'm just happy to be out of Baltimore. I'm just happy to be off the block. I'm just happy I ain't homeless. I'm just happy. Wow, that's just something you can be internally grateful for. Yeah. You can't show it.
Show your hand.
You know, because what happens is you're going to have these vultures that are going to take advantage of you. And they go, oh, you know, you're just happy to be here. So he's just happy to be in this position. So I'm gonna need you to do this, because if you don't do this, you won't be in this position no more.
You won't be happy.
So they'll dangle the very thing that you want. They'll dangle it in front of you. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful. You know what I mean? You got to be careful with that.
Do you like being more independent, or do you kind of miss how it was, kind of, you know, getting off the energy of a major? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think was you directly signed to?
No, everything was a handshake.
Okay, wow. Yeah. And most everything was kind of honorable.
Everything was a handshake. I mean, everything wasn't honorable, but everything, me and Jim, was a handshake.
That's good.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Whatever I did, I got paid for.
That's what's up.
You know, me writing on this album, I got a check for. You know, he always saw to it that I got a check. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? For whatever I did.
Yeah, because it's and that's why I thought that was one of my motivations for reaching out and wanting to interview you, because aside from me being a fan, I just saw how this narrative was existing. And you see certain people just kind of taking this, oh, he did me wrong, but, you know, there's really no, like, you don't see a business sense or some kind of a paper trail to support that. No. It's, you know, it's just kind of a bunch of feelings, or like people kind of just saying, look, you know, it's love, and sometimes it's more the hustle.
If someone takes you and puts you in the position to be president of the United States, you can't get mad because at the end of the day, they didn't give you a turkey dinner when Thanksgiving came. You know what I'm saying? What I mean is, if you are put in a position to win, that's really all a motherfucker owe you. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
A nigga don't really owe me a check if just because.
Right.
You owe me a check. You put me in a position, but now get me this. But now get me that. But now get me this. Do this for me. Do that for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Once you're in a position, you can call up your own A&Rs. You can set up your own meetings.
Program directors.
You know what I'm saying? You can go form relationships with program directors. Yep. You can get in entertainment events on your own merit. You ain't got to come with him because now you have a name. Yep. You know what I'm saying? People know who you are. You can build your own brand. You know what I'm saying? It's artists that have done it.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is to sit back and badmouth somebody who, I've been in Double XL magazine, the Source magazine, MTV. I was on a billboard. Like, these are positions that Jim put me in. You know what I mean? And I helped myself because I always showed up.
Always showed up.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the most important part.
I can't sit back and badmouth that man. You know what I'm saying? That ain't even gangster. I ain't even cut from that cloth. You know what I'm saying? So I respect him for whatever he contributed to my legacy.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I wish the nigga the best.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
So you made the transition in the film now?
Well, what I did was I filmed a documentary.
Okay.
It was a small documentary on just me and my life growing up in Baltimore and my transition to New York and things like that. It was a short film.
Okay.
But it was very real. I was very real with it. Very raw, very emotional.
Okay.
And it's still winning ribbons in film festivals now as we speak.
Okay. It's on YouTube now?
Or it's on Vimeo.
Vimeo,
Vimeo.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the name of the movie is called In the Wood.
In the Wood. Okay.
It's In the Wood. It's directed by Daniel St. Ors. That's St.O.U.R.S.
Okay.
It's directed by Daniel and it's on the Vimeo and it's a great short film. Like I said, we won best film on almost every freaking film festival it's in.
Congrats.
And we weren't looking for that.
Yeah.
To be honest, Daniel was just like, listen, you got a great story. You know, let's just shoot a short film on it. You know, you narrate it, and let's just show it and see what happens.
I'm definitely gonna check it out.
And it to see the reaction of people when they see the movie, I wasn't expecting that. You know, because it's my life, so I've been through it. I know what it is. Yeah. But when they see it, they have because Daniel, the director, his idea was, you're not just another rapper. You're not just an MC. Like you have a whole aura about you that I just feel like needs to be captured on film, and that's what he did. He captured it.
That's great when somebody can see that.
Yeah. So, but as far as other films, hell yeah, you know what I'm saying. We work.
That's what's up. Definitely. So, last question before we wrap up. This nothing to do with music, but kind of film. I'm a big fan of The Wire. I watch it a lot. I'm very analytical. I see the symbolism. How close was it to what was going on in Baltimore? Was the film, or was it mainly fiction, or was it taken from parts, or was it kind of like it's kind of close to how the city was? Because I'm 27. I'm a youngin', so I seen the late 90s, 2000s into the transition, but I didn't see the early 90s, the 80s, and stuff like that, or like Peanut and all those days and all that stuff. So how realistic was it?
Oh, it was pretty much the closest you ever gonna get. Now, the trickery comes in when you get later into the seasons. Yeah, they begin to talk about what was about to happen to Baltimore. Okay. So with Amsterdam and all of that. Yeah. That was the future. Because when you go to North Avenue in Pennsylvania, that's Amsterdam.
Park Heights and Belvedere.
So they were showing you how they planned on pretty much demolishing the drug game, dismantling it altogether, disappearing all of your major players. Wow. Where all you have now are children. Yeah. Right? You put them in one spot where they can be babysat and regulated while you build around the rest of the city. See? So a lot of people felt like, well, Amsterdam, all that shit in The Wire lost me because that was phony. But what they weren't picking up on is they were telling you, Hollywood began to tell you what was about to happen to Baltimore because they knew. Wow. You know what I'm saying? And if you weren't paying attention, you would miss it. So now Amsterdam is real. Amsterdam is on North and Mount, North in Pennsylvania. That's Amsterdam. All you gotta do is go up there and sit and look. Yeah. And the cops are sitting on every corner. Absolutely. The same way Herc and all them was doing in The Wire. Yep. Just letting them and watching them do it.
Yep. Until it got out of hand.
And then when it gets out of hand, they make a few arrests here and there.
Pull the paddy wagon out.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But when they're ready, they gonna shut it. They gonna shut it all down. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so the wire was accurate. You know, it was accurate. Yeah. You know, it was very, very accurate.
And
you know,
I definitely appreciate you. Yeah. Anything else you want to tell the people that you got coming, that you got going on?
No, just stay up with me, man. I'm always posting new music on my Instagram.
Okay, yeah.
My Instagram is In The Wood Film. You know, In The Wood Film. That's my Instagram. And you just follow me. You know what I'm saying? I always throw new shit up. I just did a video called Tame and Money that I just released on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? So, so right now I'm just doing. I mean, everybody who knows me knows I sprinkle. I like to sprinkle. You know what I'm saying? I don't saturate the market with me. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But to show appreciation for what I do and for the people who follow me, you know what I mean? I like to just sprinkle it. You never get old that way.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So that's what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And then I do a bunch of real estate. So you know, I got a bunch of real estate investments and stuff around the city that take up a lot of my time as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but other than that, I stay busy, bro.
Yeah, absolutely,
You know
absolutely. Hey man, look, Rise with Freeze, another great episode. You know, we in the spaceship. It feel like, you know,
yeah, this
the
big
dog.
Boy
You know
right
what I'm saying? Shout out to No, shout out to everybody that's just in tune, shout out to everybody paying attention and showing genuine love. You know, you're not gonna get these kind of interviews, this kind of quality. You know, we really try to educate and bring quality things to the table and be informative to people that want to get entertainment industry, want to do real estate, want to own a business, want to do whatever. If you want to do it, this channel's the place for it. You're gonna see different kind of people here. So, rock, we out.
Yo, what up, man? It's your boy, the Baltimore Banger, N-O-E. Know the name, know the difference. Right now, you on Rides with Freeze. You know what I'm saying? That's how we do. We driving around Baltimore just talking business, trying to poly up. You know what I'm saying? So your boy's about to be big. You know what I mean? So you gotta show him some love, show him some support.
Appreciate it, big homie.
All right, y'all be good.